You are now watching the whimsically works of ArchWizard CJ. If you enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, right. No, I was just making sure with you. Yeah. I'm finished. I'm finished speaking on it right now. All right. Peace out, bro. Yeah, I just got off the phone with Chief Tavius Quentin Jones, and we're gonna file this one under section, not subsection it. Now slow your roll there, Turbo, before you go on Hypebeast and type up a storm about how I'm big or relevant. Even though you clicked on this video so fast, the rest of it is still under construction. Let me take the time and explain why I haven't uploaded in the last 2 months. Because I didn't, bitch. Now that we've taken the time to go through that tedious task, allow me to address relevant topics at hand. And by relevant topics, I mean if I see one more comment pertaining to Spliced or some other bullshit, well, it's been 2 months, I'm gonna call up my homie Londale, and we're pulling up to your house to shove a size 19 wide so far up your ass, you coughing up 3D printed Nike logos. Now this is how we're gonna format the video. I wanna address multiple topics at once that I did not have the time to address during my absence for obvious reasons. So therefore, this video is a joint synopsis of several major events that have happened in For Honor's timeline in just a span of 8 or more so weeks. Are you as excited to find out how in just 2 months and 3 separate occasions Ubisoft has successfully managed to derail most if not all of the surrounding hype and atmosphere for their latest expansion of For Honor as I am? You're not. Shit, I can't tell if that's good or bad, to be honest. Let's get into this, starting with the good, followed by the bad, leading up to the Ubi. One of the only good things I can think of that had no controversial air surrounding it would absolutely have to be character redesigns and new armor sets that Ubisoft has showcased, as well as the brand new fantastic executions. The new characters themselves visually operate beautifully and sound phenomenal. Oh, I should pick them up to Andy.
要你灰飞烟灭！乱虫去死！我所向无敌！乱虫去死！害虫去死！要你灰飞烟灭！我所向无敌！灰飞烟灭！要你灰飞烟灭！
Shut the fuck up! God damn, nigga!
The aesthetic overhaul on a lot of otherwise drab or mundane characters really opens light to me. Our characters can still retain a uniqueness to them whilst completely remaining in their silhouette to an extent where there is a visible, surface level difference that you can still identify the character. This is going off topic a little bit, but I personally feel the problem with a lot of video games is that they fail to do this, and characters, instead of having significantly varying options to choose from, wind up just having variants of the same aesthetic that only you as a player notice, not the individual fighting you as well. I call it the journeyman syndrome, and I coined that from Skyrim because you never truly feel established no matter how far along you go in a video game session. The new gear sets do a fantastic job at establishing a true end game for the entire roster, and I'm very interested to see how they incorporate new aesthetic ideas to characters. The new armors are absolutely something to admire coming from Marching Fire. However, you do got to take into consideration perspectives like Rockdog in his latest video. That nigga uploaded? I know, right? Where he confesses disappointment in the artistic direction For Honor is taking because he felt For Honor would be a more enjoyable game if they went a more realistic route that kept as closely accurate to historical truths as possible. I say, why not include armor sets that are historically accurate as one of many options? Why are we still deciding how individualized our characters look off the same 3 shirts and pants, where the only cosmetic differences are details so insignificant the only time you truly admire them is when you're spending $50 on steel packs to buy them through crates? In fact, I would appreciate it if they went even less realistic. I would like to see armor sets that came straight out of Mordor or Elder Scrolls or fucking Dark Souls. Why are we limiting ourselves to such a linear progression system when cosmetics are the only end game we fucking have in For Honor? There's no open world, no dungeon crawling, no castle siege, no land building. There's no justification for why the literal one fucking thing that segregates me from a low level player aside from skill is so fucking linear in this progression. I also feel like whether Ubisoft wanted to or not, they've made a very clear statement in doing this. Something that I've been saying about cosmetics since like 2010 at least, and that's the fact that trying to justify chunking cosmetic changes behind microtransactions is straight bullshit. Trying to argue that having the ability to change your appearance has no merit in a multiplayer or single player experience is like saying creative characters in an RPG are a dying trend and Fortnite making $300 million a month off bunny skins and hitting the shoot is a fucking coincidence. Another very positive thing on top of that consistently proves beneficial and unique that For Honor upkeeps is executions. You know, like bro, I really don't have much to say on that. Executions in For Honor are phenomenal, honestly. And every time time they drop a new one, they escalate. Like, the shit is honestly it's really well done. As usual, Vikings have some Ooga Booga-ish Mortal Kombat style executions. The knights are all somewhere in the middle except Swole Pole, Longshaft, Lawbringer. He has some of the most brutal executions in the game. And the samurai are disgusting weed bait with easily the most trash lineup of executions in the game. No contest.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Man, oh man, I sure love the voice acting for Faraam. Such powerful, masculine, and grizzled voices that never cease to impress me at how identifiable they are in comparison to one another. In fact, there is not one single character on the roster, male or female, who has vocal influence that is not immediately identified upon hearing. The characters are so unique and individualized that I can literally play a string of random voice quotes with a black background, and you know who was who off inflection alone, let alone the dialogue itself.
Miserum, Teoxidam, ad mortem inumicus! Incredibili! Iloreste! Injunisu! Torbe caresimos!
Man, it would just be a travesty that in an attempt to add some level of depth to characters who, even despite the extra dialogue, otherwise have no influence whatsoever to the world around them, that Ubisoft changes these very well done vocal talents out for voice lines with a few extra unique dialogues that attempt to mimic lore and storytelling at the cost of objectively, significantly worse quality that would universally be received as such. As I said, the one sole fucking thing we as players have to identify low-level players from high-level players is literally just cosmetic. Why, that could compromise and would compromise the entire atmosphere surrounding most of the roster, which is something in itself that can ruin the game entirely. Surely Ubisoft wouldn't make moves like that when they haven't even properly adjusted the entire roster into the current meta.
Ha ha! Miserum! Teoxidam! Mars me adjuvat! Turbe carissimus!
Hello everyone, Mega here.
Don Maclass! Don Maclass! Bruscarbenia!
Damn. This is such a shitty change to me for several reasons. I don't give a fuck that they delayed it. For every reason argued why it's not that serious, there's three that make me question how the fuck Ubisoft honestly goes about making these changes, circumventing the community's best interest. Now, I don't think they did so with any malicious intent. In fact, I watched the dev stream and they claim they did this to add atmosphere to a game that has no connectivity between characters. I get that. However, the execution is so fucking bad. And it's not just me stating this. The community has stated several times over that objectively overall we do not like these fucking changes. We've made posts, videos, left comments, and for them to completely ignore all of these instances and push the agenda anyway is such a prominent statement in how helpless the community feels when faced with such things. We, despite being as loyal as we have been, have no real influence to the changes that matter in our own fucking community and game. See, you're putting so much stock into something as inconsequential to the mechanics and overall balance of the game as voice lines. Why are you so animate on something so insignificant? It's not like changing the voice of a character makes them any more or less balanced or overpowered of a character. Let me bring up a point I previously made, right? One of the biggest selling points in Marching Fire, aside from the 4 characters and new game mode, is aesthetic overhauls for already existing characters. These are things receiving very high praise that do absolutely nothing for the world space or balance of the game, right? Lawbringer has a fucking cape now and he's still trash. I'll talk about that later as well. So why then are aesthetic changes receiving such praise? Because the way my character looks and sounds influences my gameplay just as strongly as how they actually fucking play. On top of, you ready for this? For Honor is so shallow of a game, the only thing we have as individuals to express the fact we played longer than other individuals is cosmetic. Don't you compare this game to a fighting game. That's like calling Overwatch a shooter. I don't care what you try to tell me as an individual, you are more than entitled to your opinion. But trying to argue voice changes aren't significant when one of the reasons Metal Gear Solid Solid 5 was so negatively received is because Solid Snake wasn't voiced by David Hayter. It's straight bullshit. Immersion is a phenomenon that exists for a reason. When I and many other folks pour hundreds and potentially thousands of hours into games, it's not for recreational enjoyment solely. You embody the characters you play, you absorb the environments you're in, and you indulge in the lore you're exploring. While For Honor just sells itself as an arena brawler, yes, the dedication you put into a single character is reflected in not only how well you play said character, but as well as the time you took to customize them and the time that was put into identifying them to the sounds they make on air. You simply cannot deny the phonetic influence a theatrical representation has on a character. For me to pour 1,000 hours into one character for something as personally intimate as their voice to be changed for the worst could potentially ruin the entire feel and flow you once had for the character. Imagine if Goku stopped being voiced by fucking Sean Christian Schimmel and they gave that shit to like me, nigga.
You're going to love this. Trust me. What you're seeing now is my normal state. This is a Super Saiyan. And this is what is known as a Super Saiyan that has ascended past a Super Saiyan. Or you could just call this a Super Saiyan 2.
What a useless transformation. You've changed your hair, so what?
Just wait.
Has he really found a way to surpass an Ascended Saiyan? Is that possible?
He must be bluffing. I mean, what would that make him? Double Ascended?
And this
What's he doing?
is to go even further beyond.
Goku! If you do this now, it's going to drain away all the time you have left on Earth! And I'd say you need every second of it as it is!
Okay, this needs to be talked about in a brutally honest fashion by someone who isn't afraid to be critical and blunt about something I personally feel a lot of For Honor content creators are either too scared, too desperate to cling on to their benefits, too distant, or otherwise too hesitant to comment on. And that's the absolute fucking bullshit that has been hurling out of Ubisoft's mouths the past 3 or 4 months. See, it's incredibly hard to be excited about Marching Fire. I want to jump for joy and do the default dance that we're finally getting a significant piece of content after 19 months of a content drop. But out of all ways I could be disillusioned from such a prosperous event, the source of people who completely turned me off entirely to the notion are none other than Ubisoft and fuck itself. The level of incompetence shown thoroughly through statements made on Ubisoft's behalf pertaining to the status quo of balance of For Honor has been absolutely unforgivable. You don't understand, bro. These niggas have been saying shit so out of pocket I assumed they were trolling from first hearing. I still do, if I'm honest. I absolutely refuse to believe they compare Lawbringer and Shigoki to Conqueror and Warden and refer to both as S tiers. You can try and say it was a grammatical error all you want, but we both know that's bullshit. It really shows me how much they actually interact with the community when niggas like Roman essentially tell players to get good in response to legitimate criticisms on their behalf as developers for a state of balance and For Honor.
Right. I mean, if you pay attention to the blogs that Steph's team has been doing, the balance blogs, they sort of give you a sense of where we're at and where we need to do a little more work, so that can kind of give you a hint of where we're going.
Like, for example, I was seeing the other day a guy saying, oh yeah, the Lawbringer sucks, he's really bad at opening people, and now we need a rework of the Lawbringer. What do you think about that, Steph?
It's a Lawbringer.
My answer is first learn how to play your Lawbringer, then we'll see how much...
This is one word. Roman, you're going to get me in trouble with that answer.
The important part
get me in trouble with that answer.
The important part to know is that we want all heroes to be competitively viable.
Yeah, right.
The reason why this bothers me is because amidst all these significant updates claiming to be the forefront of the overhaul coming when Marching Fire drop, like, not once. Like, I'm literally asking everybody who watches this video, when have they once talked about balance changes? Like, yeah, we're getting new armors, 4 new characters, a new game mode, graphical overhauls, arcade mode, new maps. Holy fuck. But what are you planning on doing with the game's wildly unbalanced state? Have you not been following the absolute shit show high level play is? Have you not seen the current state of ranked? There isn't one because everyone stopped playing. Have you not seen how unplayable high level Faraam or PC is? Are we seriously going to ignore the fact that none of these additions are going to change the fact that there's a very stark difference between the undisputed S tiers and the rest of the roster? You guys wrote a status update on the roster that was a complete joke, having the audacity to say Lawbringer and Shigoki will be unchecked if you balance Conqueror's Shield Bash.
Conqueror is still extremely strong in 1v1. The ability to do a forward dodge and shield bash or guard break can impose good pressure across the cast. However, what's interesting here is that while Conqueror is strong for that reason, when you look at the rest of the top list, they mostly want to counterattack. The suspicion that other top characters, especially Centurion, Lawbringer, Shigoki, would beat Conquerors by countering. Hold on. The suspicion that other top characters, the top characters are Centurion, Lawbringer, Shigoki. Alright, well, let's keep going. In this dual win rate data set, Lawbringer is placed at 6th position in season 5. We saw Lawbringer at 10th position. Lawbringer appears to be performing above expectations. Oh god. So okay, it's clear now. It's 100% clear now. They don't actually play the game. All they do is look at data and make changes based on data. So it's clear as day. It's clear as day. All these changes that we're asking for, they don't listen to.
They didn't even proofread this shit. It's literally the same sentence twice. To say something so ridiculously inaccurate is insane in itself, right? However, they revealed the way they gathered data is by not only grouping the top percent with the lowest percent of players, but they group all platforms together. Console, which is 30 FPS with built-in delay, and an overall less consistent version of the game in terms of performance, is grouped with 60 FPS, uncapped, zero latency PC, with the worst of the best players being compared from all platforms. What? Are you fucking serious? And they wonder why this data shows Lawbringer with a high win percentage. I also got wind that they buffed Raider for the worst, giving him free damage off of his Stampede charge in GB, so expect Unlocktech to go full force with high level Raiders once that drops, which again is fucking mind boggling when the community just had an entire campaign against this shit. This is the problem with top tiers right now in general, a bunch of insanely safe moveset revolving around spammable unblockables that guarantee 50/50s for heavy damage and require inhuman reads to even begin to counter. And even then, there's sometimes nothing you can really do with certain chains once they start it up. The way they've been fucking handily balancing also has me anxious introducing 4 new fucking characters to the roster when you can't even get the original fucking 9 down right, let alone DLC. And it's so fucking aggravating because we've been through this. Unlocktech has been an issue since season fucking 1. How have we not found a solution yet? How have you not learned from what a Learnican did in the 10K tournament? What he did was fucking embarrassing and left a permanent scar on the game's reputation. How are we still getting consistent disconnects in rank? How are certain characters who have been in the game since launch still the weakest after 8 seasons and 2 season passes? How are peer-to-peer disconnects still a thing? How are all these technical mishaps and several other things still a fucking thing? This is ridiculous. And you know what's crazy? Despite the level of ineptness shown here, what topples all of it, is how Ubisoft chose to go about promoting the For Marching Fire DLC. I couldn't help but notice an absence of media saturation in regards to For Honor. In the 2 months I've been gone and everyone's got a Marching Fire ad on YouTube, I've never seen a discussion about it outside already established For Honor channels. I've seen big YouTubers who are Ubisoft Game Center channels not even attempt to talk about it. No fighting game YouTubers, no Dark Souls YouTubers. I got really confused as to why I haven't seen any real serious media presence. Then I get a message on Discord from Illest Truth about how a Fortnite YouTuber was given a paid sponsorship to promote the game. Typical gamer. As soon as this hits my ears, my mind immediately goes to the absolute most ridiculous scenario possible and probable. There is no fucking way Ubisoft Montreal is so fucking inept and disconnected from its own video game and fan base that they honestly and truly felt the best market of individuals to sell their immature medieval brawler combat simulator was to a handful of people who upload videos for a demographic that steals their mom's credit card with a bedtime curfew of 7:45 p.m. to buy a dude in black face paint and a skull cap doing T-pose emotes hitting the default dance on TikTok cringe compilations. There is no fucking way that they thought that was a smart idea. Yes, they literally ignored their entire community to pull in people from the Fortnite community to play For Honor. Yes, names like I Am Wildcat, Cypher PK, Basically I Do Work, Cartoons, Zero Critics, Older Brother, Typical Gamer, a few more. They handed all of them paid sponsorships to not only upload videos for the game, but they went as far as to fly them out to Montreal to play against each other on an official live stream event to promote Marching Fire. Who the fuck is Ubisoft's PR manager? What the fuck was he thinking trying to cross brand between For Honor and Fortnite?
Oh boy, little feller, what's your name? Say little cashew, little cashew. If you love the fast-paced and reaction-based shooter experience that's so forgiving on its players, you can literally put up walls and cover instantaneously on the go with bright colors and a cartoon aesthetic and a variety of wacky items and abilities and characters. Wait until you pick up our meticulous, slow-paced, and highly technical arena brawler that punishes you severely for literally making one single mistake. With an aesthetic that's so bleak and dry, we literally have color palettes for characters named after dry blood and mud. Oh boy, little Theodore, you want to know what kind of characters we got? Oh man, you love Skull Trooper, Bunny Brawler, John Wick. Well, let me tell you, we got Caucasians, spicy Caucasians, and Asians, non-anime kind. You think you love Bright Bomber and Hidden the Yeets? Haha, wait until you spend the match getting yelled at by a 7'1" Scottish man screaming at you in Gaelic while he kicks your head off after throwing your neck at the shaft of his sword. I know you little kids love doing that. Maybe if you play really well, you know, you might get lucky and get called a nigger.
Let me explain to you guys something. I left a comment on one of Kenzo's recent videos, right? The one called When Unlocking Goes Wrong. I asked the question, Kenzo, how do you feel about Typical Gamer, a Fortnite YouTuber, having a YouTube For Honor sponsorship when people have been uploading the game 2 years straight with zero acknowledgement from the devs? Now, in typical beta male shit-stained and piss-stained fashion, a good chunk of the comments were just useless banter by a bunch of faggots who just want to talk shit solely because I'm the person asking the question. Not surprising at this point, however, there was the general misconception being thrown around that really fucking bothered me, because people were speaking in absolutes when they clearly had no idea what they were talking about, and I'll show an example here. In response to my question, one user replies, the standard marketing tactic, get more subs, get more sponsorship. You don't aim for the people who are already watching and participating. You aim for the masses outside who might be drawn in. Another person commented, this isn't because of Kenzo or any other popular For Honor YouTuber not being good enough, because they are. It's all about publicity that the game will get. The devs know their selections have a large following and are hoping to bring in more players. It's all about the money for Ubi. And another person commented, yeah, I also hate to say it, but it makes sense for Ubi to do that from a purely economical standpoint. Like Arch, Kenzo, Spliced, Havoc, EFB, etc., all added together, it's still like 1/5 the audience a guy like that can have. The other major point to take into consideration is all you guys already have viewers that are most likely avid For Honor players. A Fortnite YouTuber has what Ubisoft will see as untapped audience that would come over and try out For Honor. But I do agree with you, Arch, it would be nice for Ubi to give some love to all of you guys that have basically helped keep this game alive since day one. Let me briefly explain why this fallacy of numbers is complete and total bullshit. It's being spouted out of pure ignorance and nothing else. No offense to anyone, I'm just speaking facts. I can't stand when people speak in absolutes on topics of discussions they absolutely have no concrete understanding in. Everyone is basically trying to say because they're larger YouTubers outside of the For Honor community, by uploading For Honor content to their channel, it will draw largest audience of people who've never played the game into For Honor. That couldn't be the furthest fucking thing from the truth. Let me open up to you guys. I'm not going to state any specific names. I'll leave it up to them to openly announce this. There's quite a few For Honor YouTubers who have openly admitted to me they desperately want to leave this community and expand outward. To each their own, but your next thought would be, if that's the case, why haven't they done this already? There's a little phenomena called audience transfer. See, I established myself as, let's say, a For Honor YouTuber, and all of a sudden, I started competing with binging with Babish making food videos. I'd be lucky if I literally get 1/10 of the audience I do that. In fact, you don't even have to go that far. Look at what happens to a channel when they go from uploading one fighting game to another. Instant deflation. And if you lack the the quality control and creativity to back it up, you kill your fucking channel. This is because the audience you establish is attracted to one thing. If you're lucky, that one thing can encompass other things in proximity, like how Ninja jump from one battle royale to another, or how anime YouTubers can freely flow between everything anime. I can't be a fighting game YouTuber and then switch to Forza Motorsport. I can't be a shooting game YouTuber and then switch to RTS game. That's just how it rolls, to be honest. Let's take a look at one of these sponsored YouTubers and truly break down the issue. Oh man, Cypher PK, I remember when that fella was playing For Honor and ESO. Remember when he did that thing with Valkyrie in that one Twitch clip? Oh man, that was some good shit. So high skilled, I guess. Wowee, he's moved on to Fortnite because of a combination of timing, luck, and persistence, and he has seen incredible amounts of success. None of it has anything to do with For Honor, and he has no plans whatsoever of returning to For Honor. But what's that? A paid sponsorship by Ubisoft to promote their new expansion. Oh fuck, we got niggas in the For Honor community promoting companies so obscure they're receiving death threats for scamming. But this nigga that left our game to go play Fortnite, oh, we gonna give him something official. Ubisoft sponsorship. Woo! Man, I cannot wait for Ubisoft to tap into that tapestry of new people who will surely flock to the For Honor scene and bolster our numbers something fierce. Why I imagine if we at least get 10% of his subscriber base, that's 120,000 niggas that will come to For Honor, right? Let's check on the video now that it's almost a month old to see how well it is. 50,000 views. What the hell? How did the second video do 35,000 views? Why is viewer base diminished just off one video? Oh my lord, this don't make sense. I don't understand all this money we poured into this nigga. I feel sick. I'm gonna throw up. Oh, I need some water. Oh, I'm feeling woozy. Maybe he's an outlier. There's no way this is going to be an accurate representation of a majority, if not all, other Fortnite YouTubers we purposely selected to give exposure to our game. Let's check out Typical Gamer. Let's see how he's doing. 7.2 million subs. He has to break 100K, right? Let's see here. 80,000 views, and it's been 4 days. It's barely over 1% of his audience. What the fuck? Cartoons is a frequent poster for Honor. He can barely break 10% with a sponsored video. What the fuck? Oh shit. I'm not even gonna exacerbate this any longer. Audience transfer is the ability to maintain viewer retention across several different mediums, genres, and outlets. All these failed YouTube channels with 100 subs and 20 videos talking down to me about how the shit works is such a bothersome thing, because instead of actual knowledge being passed around, everybody is circle jerking this idea that big numbers equals big audience. Darius P, when he was a For Honor channel, pulled 25 to 50% of his audience per video when the game was hot. Now after traveling game to game, he might get lucky and pull 1K to 3K a video. That's no disrespect to him. I love Darius P. I love his content. I've been following him long before For Honor dropped. But the point is, this exists. It's always existed. But because of ArchWizard CJ and I intimidate a bunch of faggots with big words and a deep voice, they feel the need to argue with me about something that's honestly common fucking sense. This isn't some forbidden knowledge I've obtained by sacrificing an eye and hanging myself from fucking Yggdrasil like I'm fucking Odin. This shit has been a thing since entertainment was entertainment. Even fucking SpongeBob made an episode on it. And here's what's even more insulting. Out of that 10%, 100% of that 10% is not even gonna watch the entire video. Out of that 10%, 5 to 10% of that 10% watch the entire video start to finish as new players. 25 to 20% already played For Honor and found out that this video isn't their recommended. 10 to 15% watch all of Cypher PK's videos but would have clicked on anything he uploaded regardless, and 50 to 65% of the people who watched that video probably skimmed the first 3 minutes and clicked off. I wouldn't be surprised if the average viewer percentage of that video was less than 20%. We're not about to get 33,000 fucking new players on For Honor. If we're lucky, this shit will probably introduce the game to maybe 1 to 3,000, and that's aiming extremely high, and even then that number is gonna diminish. What pisses me off is, on top of this, think about this for a second. These people are Fortnite content creators, the single biggest game in the last decade, pulling in so much revenue. They have annual multi-$100,000 tournaments. A game that turned Epic Games from a multi-million-dollar company to a multi-billion-dollar company. A game that is so popular, have made official collaborations with Marvel and the fucking NFL. Ninja at one point for a long period of time was making $500,000 off Twitch subscribers alone from his popularity growing from this game. A game so popular I don't need to introduce any of these people because that game makes sure you know who they are. Now think about how much money they typically make off Fortnite. The lowest end most likely being Cypher PK. Then think about how much money they paid these niggas to not only upload sponsored videos but fly them out to Montreal to play their game live on stage, give them hotel room and any other amenities they need. I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped at least $10,000 a person. At the same time, they're dumping thousands of dollars for Cypher PK to upload an educational video on a game he hasn't played in over a year. Kenzo and Spliced upload videos reacting to executions and get over 100K per video. As a matter of fact, just them, just about anybody in the For Honor community could have promoted this game and you would have seen significantly more success. Imagine if Illest Truth, EFB, Kenzo, Spliced, Havoc, Infinite, me, Noah C, Learnican, Setmix, Flushmeister, Zero Craig, Flux Deluxe, fucking imagine if anybody who actually had or has any sort of influence in the community had a paid sponsorship to promote this game through commercial advertisement or advertisement in general. 60% of the names I just listed didn't even receive invites to the private fucking beta, and people are scratching their heads as to why Marching Fire started with a fizzle instead of a bang. If this was some bullshit they were pulling February 10th, 2017, I would have zero issue. I will completely and totally acknowledge that they're going for low-hanging fruit, thinking only about numbers for a game that literally has zero people representing it. That is not the case. This is month 22. For Honor has been active for 22 months. Come 3 months after October 16th, For Honor would have officially been out for 2 entire years. 2 entire years of dedication and loyalty from so many significant and valid content creators who have never skipped a beat when it comes to this game. Not me though, I've taken several long breaks. So many different people who have dedicated 2 years of their craft, their time, their patience, their best effort, going through shit every single day. Do you have any idea how fucking gross, hypocritical, toxic, and fucking pathetic this community is at times? I've interacted with so many different communities, and none of them have harbored personalities as hypocritical, morally audacious, and blatantly fucking deluded as this one. I can guarantee you there is some faggot right now preparing to type up 2 pages on an account with 5 subs, or fucking no profile pic that was created 2 days ago, trying to call me out over shit that doesn't exist, saying I have the nerve to defend myself against absurdly disrespectful comments that go after my person and not my content. I've had situations where I shit you not, someone made an account, started talking shit, and when I retaliated saying I was going to use them in a video, deleted the account, then remade the same account several days later to talk more shit, making it out to be a situation of me not being able to handle quote unquote criticism. How dare I not be a bitch and roll over to someone going out of their way to antagonize me, to start an uproar in my own comment, and antagonize anyone who supports me every single chance they get. Here's the catch though. If I'm feeling this, a content creator who takes breaks to span months, I know for a fact, like I actually know from talking to them, that other content creators feel the same way, and sometimes worse. This is a game to the casual audience, so I don't expect many people who play this game leisurely to truly understand the depth of a lot of people's sorrow. But for the rest of us, this is a career path, something that we at one point were so impassioned and dedicated towards that we now feel is a soulless drudge as we retch through activities on a game, feeling a level of disdain one can only feel after being lied to, after being played, or after being bamboozled. We feel that negative emotion, and it is personified by the limitations set on us by how inconsequential all of our efforts until now have been, channel-wise, community-wise, gameplay-wise. Being a content creator for Honor just makes you a consumer with a subscriber base. You affect as much as someone who's only played the game a day, despite being a 2-year veteran who's been putting up with absolute bullshit since his or her first week into the game. I'm not going to speak on behalf of all content creators, as I am not them, neither are they me. However, the secret's out. The game has reached an inevitable impasse, one which basically segregates the community into chunks because there's a strong amount of people for just about every relevant opinion on this game at the moment. However, there's something that is universally a conclusion people are coming to, and that's this. For Honor is at the lowest point it has been ever since launch, and this is immediately after its biggest content drop ever since launch. I've been screaming in my corner of this community for the longest that the issues we face now were going to be problems a year plus ago, but no one listened. Everybody heckled and talked shit and said I was just a downtrotter for Honor. I would hope now, or I would like to hope now, that we as a community, not just me being toxic in my own fucking corner, are coming to the same conclusion, that we can now again work as a community to solve said solutions. Or we can just pretend everything is fine like we've been doing, watch as literally no progress happens, and the game doesn't get a second release because of disappointing sales, and the entire concept of For Honor fades out of existence, with the only people keeping it alive being niggas in the For Glory Discord who literally can't play any other game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This has been ArchWizard CJ. I wish you all a good morrow, and I'm off for the time being.
This has been an ArchWizard CJ special. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Can y'all really feel me? East Coast, feel me. West Coast, feel me. Say what? 30,000. Here we go. West Coast, King of Illest